Hey friends, what's up? Kaz here. Welcome back. It has been a while. I've been busy to say the least, but I'm back with this week of a server tutorial. This was suggested by shout out Sintrast Gamer as to do Ultimate Skyblock. Well, they asked for Skyblock. I decided to do Ultimate Skyblock. It was the most up to date of all the Skyblock plugins out there. It also had a lot of downloads here, 150,000. So hopefully you guys find this helpful. This is made by Talabreck. He updated it last month. It should work with 1.74. I've been using the latest version of Spigot, and it works fine for 1.74. The only thing required to run it is Vault, but it's highly recommended that you use World Edit, World Guard, Permissions X, or Group Manager. It works with both of them. Multiverse Core, Essentials with Essentials Spawn. This helps for respawning, and Multiverse Inventories. I have tutorials on all of those. So if you need any help with setting up any one of those, be sure to check it out. Also, I will provide the download link for the configuration files and stuff that I use for this one, which can be helpful because I also have the Skyblock schematic saved in there, but you don't really need it. I'll show you how you get around that. I had a little bit of problem setting it up. So let's hop over and check out the configuration. So as always, I have this bat file on all of my downloads for Start Server. If you're downloading this and there has been an update, feel free to update this file to the latest one, as well as hop in your plugins folder to update those. Now, when Skyblock is loaded for the first time, it will create this world, Sky World, and you're going to see a lot of errors in your startup talking about a unsafe starting platform. That's fine. Feel free to ignore those. It'll still run fine. So basically, you're going to download your Sky World jar or use Skyblock and put that in here, and then it's going to create your folder here like any other plugin. Now, here is all the plugins that I've suggested so far. Like I said, all you really need is Vault, but if you want the full functionality of the plugin, I would highly recommend you get all of these. I haven't configured any of them to any extent. I put a very, very basic permissions file in there to show you guys that. If you want to configure all these, you can feel free to check out some of my other tutorials as I have those setups in there. So we're going to hop in here, and then actually I already have it open. This is the configuration file that you get open, and you can change this world name, but be sure to change it before you start your computer or your server for the first time, because this is what it will set to. All of it is pretty self-explanatory. You got your spawn size. Now this is where it gets a little confusing in the island section, and this is where you can run into problems. This is where I ran into problems, was stuck for a little bit. Basically, you can specify custom schematic names for the start of new islands. So if you want to, amp your Skyblock up and don't do just a traditional Skyblock, you can put this in here, and then what you're going to do, actually, let's hop back in here. You're going to put the schematic in here. I already got one in here for you guys, so feel free to use that. But you don't really need to put a schematic in there. This is what you need to set. Use old island. This by default is false. If you leave it false, you won't be able to create an island. You'll just get stuck there. There won't be any error message, nothing like that. There's a few other things. Protect with World Guard, which is by default false, and it'll still work if you leave it false, because it uses the built-in protection. But if you have World Guard, might as well use it. I thought I would turn on allow PvP. This is where you can specify what items are in the chest. By default, this is the standard layout of it. Also, you have some options for extra items, which you can actually just set false. But basically, you can lay these out. This kind of gives you a general outline, which I could show you how you specify these by permissions here in a sec. Which we'll get to that in a moment. But there's some other extras. Send to spawn. This is by default is false. I sent this to true. This basically means if a person is removed from a party and they're offline, or they die on somebody else's island, I believe, and it'll send them back to the essential spawn, which I could show you how to use once we get into the game here. You can also have this where if a person right clicks on obsidian because they accidentally made an obsidian block with an empty block, it'll change it back to lava, kind of like, I don't know what it's kind of like, but yeah. Also, Ultimate Skyblock allows for challenges, which is really cool, and you can change that to true and false, and broadcast, and ranks, and this just, you can modify all of these challenges. There is a lot of them, which I'm not really going to go over. There's rewards for doing them, and then the XP you get for that, and then it'll display that across everybody, and you can have your users compete on who has the best Skyblock island, which I think is so cool. So we're gonna hop in the server here and go over some of the in-game commands as well as the permission nodes for that. So I will be right back with you. Welcome back. Here we are on my very temporary and like crude design, because this actually doesn't use any signs at all, this plugin, which is pretty cool. I thought it did, but so I started building something very basic. But anyway, let's hop in. I'll show you some of the stuff that you can do. So the first thing is you can just do island, and it'll bring up the island menu. So one thing that's interesting, I'm just noticing this now, is if you don't have an island created yet, you do not see all these options. So you got to create a island first, and then you got all of these options, which kind of makes it all pretty cool. Like, I don't know how to describe. This is really nice. It's very, I think the author describes it as a very immersive, it makes it really easy, so you don't need to know all of these commands, and it gives you a bunch of information. So because I am a donor, I can have up to 8 people on my island. Actually, I'm the owner, which is inheriting from the donor class. And then I have the challenges. Now I can return back to my home, which then you can actually, if you've been working on your island for a while, you can set an island home on it, so you always go back to that spot. Then you can also, there's a few other things in here. Where's the command? You can set where people teleport to in your options. So when you change home location, so that's, I know, change, okay. Oh, here it is, change warp location. So now they'll warp to that spot, and then you can, actually, I don't know what that one does. This is very beta, so some of the stuff doesn't really work yet, but the most important stuff does work. Like you can lock, you can change all that if you have that permission. Let's go over some of the permissions now. Here's where you can invite people to your island, so you can work on it as a player or as a group, which is pretty cool. There's the set warp command. Like I said, all of it has that menu, I think, is only going to get better as this gets out of beta, which is really cool, and one of the main reasons I like this plugin. But let's check out some of those permissions now. There's 2 big ones. You can give, using wildcards in PEX or Group Manager, if you do USB, which is Ultimate Skyblock, .island, .star, that will give them access to everything that they need to start an island. So that's create, restart, home, set home, info, see the top 10 list, that kind of stuff. But if you want the users to be able to lock and unlock their island, which does not allow players onto their island when they're not there or there anyway, you need to give those permissions to them. That's USB.lock. Gives them the lock and unlock command. And then also, if you want them to be able to create parties, maybe you want to reserve parties to be donors. For your donors, that's fine, or VIPs. You're just going to give them USP.party, or USB, excuse me, .party.star. And then if you want them to be able to change the biome of what their skyblock is, that's usb.biome.biome name. There's a list of it on the server, so be able to check the link in the giblets below, and that'll be there. if you want to be able to set the warp, you need a special permission. That's usb.extra.add warp, and that'll also give you access to toggle warp. And then ban and challenges, that's all included in the thing. I'm just going down the list and looking at this. There's a bunch of mod operation permission nodes, which you can do usb.mod.star, which is in this permissions file. So be sure to look that over. There's also an admin as well, which gives you a bunch of different things. I'll put a link to the commands and permissions so you guys can just look over all of these. The big one that I wanted to go over was the okay, so if you remember, our configuration file had the small bonus, medium bonus, large bonus, giant bonus. So if you want to give people permission to that, you're going to give them USB dot donor bonus, extreme bonus, whatever, and that is going to whatever you set. So that's a custom permissions node if you want to rename that to VIP or whatever you want to name those to and modify those bonuses. That is all there as well. So that's about it. Like I said, this is a really cool little plugin, and hopefully this helps you guys out. Feel free, leave some comments below. A couple things to note: this doesn't create a spawn world, so be sure to create your own spawn area. And to set your spawn, let's go back there, and I go over this in I go over this in my essentials, but basically it's just set spawn wherever you want it to be, and that will bring you back to here. But that's about it. So hopefully you guys found this helpful. I know this is a little bit longer tutorial than I usually like, but it's a really cool plugin, and hopefully you guys find it helpful. If you have any questions, feel free to comment below. If you like this, please be sure to leave a like. That helps me out. And be sure to check out all the links in the gibbles below. So you'll see the link to the author's bucket or page, as well as a download for this this build that I put together so to help you guys out. And be sure to check out some other tutorials, especially if you're going to use all of those recommended plugins. Those will help you out as well. So just remember, this is Cos from McFriends, just reminding you guys always enjoy the game.
What? What?
I died.
What? Why is it? What the f is going on?
It's still going. I win again. I win again. I win.